Heyo! Thanks for tuning in to Omni Dog's Vault, Omni Dogs and Omni Kittens. Today I have books I've been reading. This is this week's book reviews, sort of what I've been reading. But I also have a question for viewers out there. Before I get to the reviews, I wanted to say my channel's been around for 4 years. We're closing in on 6,000 subscribers. Thank you very much. I was happy when I got my very first subscriber. But it makes me wonder, I don't think for a review channel, all I do is reviews. I don't think I can grow much more, which was fine. I never got into this other than my main goal when I got into this was to suggest books to people that I liked and thought other people would like. There are hundreds of channels out there about comic books, which is encouraging, and some of them are discouraging, but the fact that the hobby has that many channels is great. But I'm asking you, the viewers who have stuck with me, or you're brand new, stuck with me from the beginning, or you just signed on, I'm looking back at my catalog of videos and I'm wondering what you would like to see more of and what you don't necessarily want to see more of. As I said, I'm a review channel. I throw in toy reviews with my friend Tyler Blunt because it's fun. The Saturday shows have now turned into more like talk shows where we have big audiences for them, and it's more interesting for the person that tunes in that day. I have to put when the topic starts for the viewer that tunes in later and wants to find out about the topic. So Saturdays have sort of changed. I don't get any of my books free. None of them are comped. So anything I review, I buy. If that ever changes, I will tell you that. I do have a couple of review copies of things that I'm going to do reviews on soon, but as of right now, I can't just go out and buy every omnibus and review it. I just don't have the dosh. And so what I'm wondering is what you would like to see more of on this channel. I have best of lists, like my favorite science fiction, my favorite fantasy. I'm going to do a video on favorite witchcraft and occult books. My top books of the year are always popular. But if I look back, it doesn't look focused as I look back on it. So one thing that's not going to change is I'm not doing any editing. Sorry. If you want good editing, go to Tyler Blunt's channels, SSD, Super Squad D. All these channels I'm going to mention, I'm going to put in my description with hot links. Tyler does a great job with toys and stuff, and he's a great editor. I'm not an editor. I'm not going to do it. So, and I don't have access to books that have yet to be released like Omar does. Omar's a great friend of mine. He deserves every bit of success he has. I don't have access to those review copies, so I can't give you a first look at things. Riley, his channel I'm also going to highlight. He does a great job with manga and other books that interest him. One thing Omar and Riley have, phenomenal memories and knowledge about comics. That's what I'm trying to also add, be a value add, so to speak, is that I do have a lot of knowledge about comic books, and hopefully I can help you with any questions. Giovanni, I am naming my Omnibros, but they're the ones that I think are the best. Gio has a week in Geekdom. He's awesome at anime and manga, and Gabe loves 90s comics. He's an expert in 90s comics. Those are the places to go for those kinds of things. I can give you reviews of everything I read. I can give you, are there any, what I'm asking is, do you have any ideas that I haven't come up with? Is there something you want to see? Is there something you want me to concentrate on? Do you want me to concentrate on it weekly or monthly? Do you want to uh, have me do more of a certain publisher? Do you want me to have more themed videos like fantasy and science fiction? Um, Overviews I can do, but I think a lot of channels already do them before I can even get the books. If it's something like Silver Age, and DC hasn't been putting out any Silver Age or Golden Age stuff recently, which is sort of my wheelhouse for overviews. Those are the eras that I know. But I do I do a ton of modern reading. So my question to you before I get to the topic is, please leave a comment below. Tell me what you'd like to see more of. I'm happy to do whatever you guys think is interesting. Whatever is interesting, just to 5 or 10 people may turn out to be interesting to 1,000 people. So just let me know what you think. Things you're interested in seeing more of on my channel. Because as I said, I am a reviewer, basically. I want to turn you guys on to books that you may not know about and give you my opinion on them. I'll tell you when something sucks. I'll tell you when something's great. So there you go. There's Omnidog's mission statement. And I've been doing it for almost 4 years now, and it's been a lot of fun. And I'd like to do it for another 10 years. So let me know your thoughts. We're here in a different part of my basement because some people have said they wanted to see more of my basement. We've got the jukebox back there, my spinner rack right here. In the back, you can see statues. I'll get closer to that sometime. Above the jukebox are a signed Adam West photo, some Batgirl comics that I found in like a dollar bin and just framed them. They're really crappy, which is a good thing that I picked dollar bin ones because my wife taped them into the frame. Thank God I didn't pick something near mint and said, here, frame these. So here's the spinner rack. Right now it's got variants on it. I had vintage comics on it, you know, Silver Age and keys, Silver Age keys, Bronze Age keys, and just books that I liked. But I have so many variants, I thought I'd put them on display here. So, and it's got a good squeak. I could repair that squeak, but I love that squeak. So what I read this week? I read Batman Detective Comics 1027 Deluxe. It's actually a deluxe from DC. This is a collection of short stories, and I am delighted with it. It's got stories from, listen to these writers, Tomasi, Brian Michael Bendis, Matt Fraction, Greg Rucka, James Tinian, Kelly Sue DeConnick, Marv Wolfman, Grant Morrison, Tom King, Scott Snyder, Dan Jurgens, Mariko Tamaki. That's a lot of good authors, a lot of good writers. And the art is great in all of it. That is one thing that I can promise you. The art is great. The stories range, I like this because the stories range from very good to fantastic. I would say there's not a big loser in the group. I found them all, this is my favorite story. What story is this? The Masterclass by Brian Michael Bendis. I love this story. I really think Bendis should be writing with Batman Universe in his back pocket. I think in this story, I think he knows Batman and should really write him. That's my opinion. This was my favorite in the book. It's great. The Greg Rucka story is also great. The art is great throughout. Different artists, there are pinups, but this is a solid collection that I would highly recommend. I even like John Romita Jr.'s art in this. I'm not a big fan of his, but in this, it's really good. So do yourself a favor. If you're a Batman fan, This book is this book is an excellent choice. I would definitely highly recommend blind buying this and digging it. Now I'll show you one last interesting thing. It is an 80-year celebration, so there's going to be lots of callbacks and interesting stuff. So definitely check out, where am I doing here? There we go. Definitely check out Detective 1027 Deluxe. I dug it. Another thing I read, Loki, Agent of Asgard, which I believe is getting a reprint. The complete collection. It goes from 1 to 2 to 3. I think that's the end because 3 ends on a thing that says next. So maybe that's a continuation. I don't know. I just finished it last night, so I didn't have a chance to look it up. 1 is great. I loved the whole idea of Loki being reborn into a younger self and working for the All-Mother on Asgard. Whatever good he accomplishes on Midgard helps to erase one of his past sins. And this first book by Al Ewing, first of all, Al Ewing is another one of those writers that is just hitting it on all cylinders. This book is introduces us to whatever her name is. It's like Verity. Okay, Jess, could you be a little bit more prepared than this? You can't lie to her. And Loki meets her in a Verity Willis. Loki meets her in a speed dating thing, and she's a very interesting character. I love her introduction. She's really great and interesting. She can see through any lie. And of course, Loki is the master of lies. So this book goes into a lot of Loki history and a lot of Norse history with Loki and Thor and things. And it also talks about some of the missions that Loki is on to erase his past misdeeds. Highly enjoyable. I thoroughly recommend this volume 1. Now, volume 2 is also well written. I cannot tell a lie. It's well written, but it does get a little more complicated because it refers to a lot of Marvel events that are occurring either at the same time or just a few years before. So if you're not caught right up on all things Marvel, specifically Thor, Original Sin, things like that, like I am not caught up on, you may not get the most out of this story. I'm going to hang on to these, and I plan on finishing up reading Jason Aaron's entire Thor run, starting with Original Sin, and I'll probably get a lot of the in references to this. But I will say it's got event heavy tie-ins going on in this book. It didn't keep me from enjoying it, but I didn't enjoy it as much as volume 1 or as much as volume 3, Loki Last Days. Now this actually gets complicated because it starts talking about the end of days, Ragnarok, and what Loki is doing about it. There's young Loki and old Loki who seem to exist at the same time. Loki, I won't tell you young Loki's secret, but his secret does come out and he has to deal with the consequences, and they're not pleasant. This book's very enjoyable too. I don't feel like it's as event heavy tie-in wise, but you do have to be prepared to follow a lot of complex structure of the end of times. When you read it, you'll see, because a lot of things are happening, a lot of parties are involved to have Ragnarok happen. And does it happen? And what happens to Loki when it happens? And what's Loki doing during this all the time anyway? So I gave the first book 4 stars, I gave the second book 3 stars, and I gave the third book 4 stars. The second book got those stars because of the tie-ins. But I highly recommend that series too, especially if you're all caught up on everything Marvel. Here's a big monster. I loved this book. I hope it's still in print. I'm sure lots of you out there have this. I had the trades that made up a lot of this, that I lost in a flood. So I haven't read any of this. And I know a little bit about the Demon Bear saga. I've seen the movie, I've read the book. It's not a good idea to read the Demon Bear saga without reading what leads up to it first. Demon Bear saga is completely out of context by itself. And actually, I'm going to take the dust jacket off so I can show some of the art. The Demon Bear story makes so much more sense when you read everything that leads up to it. So this tells the story from the beginning of all the New Mutants and how they get together. Not a huge fan previously of very wordy text balloons. Some of these text balloons are wordy. They are worth it too. This is great writing. I can see now why Chris Claremont is considered such a great X-Men writer. I loved every single story in this. I loved the art. I loved the characters. I loved how the characters were developed. I loved all the characters' backstories. This book was great. 100% if you are into mutants at all and want to learn more about them, I can't recommend this book enough. I loved this book, and I would recommend reading this before you even read any X-Men, because that's actually what I'm going to do. I've read this, and now I'm going to go into Claremont's run and his run with Jim Lee too, and read everything in between. I think this was a good way to get me broken in on how Chris Claremont writes, his style, and what the characters are like. New Mutants is definitely one of my top books of the year. I don't know when it came out. Did it come out in December or January? I don't remember, but I don't care. I read it this year, so it's going to be this year. Highly, highly recommended. Great art all the way throughout. Of course, it's got my girl Magic in it, so it's great there too, explaining her story. So I love this book, and I know you will too if you're into X-Men or mutants at all. And then the last 2 books you guys have probably already read. Marvel Cosmic Universe by Donnie Cates and Guardians of the Galaxy by Donnie Cates. Now, first of all, great books, great stories. I understand now why Donnie Cates is the master of Marvel. These are fabulous, fabulous stories. They do need to be read in a certain order though, because Guardians of the Galaxy starts out with the continuation of something that happens in Cosmic Universe. So you need to be careful about where you go in this. I'm trying to find how I would read the, how I would suggest the order. Okay, what is this? Because something happens, I don't want to ruin it for you. Thanos Annual, where are you? Where are you? Where are you? You think I'd be better prepared than this? I've been doing it for 4 years. Cosmic Ghost Rider 1. So the story starts. Oh yeah, Thanos Annual 1. It starts with Thanos, story about Thanos in here. That's how it starts. But the Thanos story continues in Guardians of the Galaxy. So what I would do before I read Guardians of the Galaxy is you need to read, here it is, Thanos Legacy. In the middle of Thanos Legacy 1 is right in the middle of Marvel Cosmic Universe. This is a major storyline. You have to read this first, then this starts off. So with the continuation from Marvel Legacy #1, Thanos Legacy #1. Also, it's probably a good idea to read Silver Surfer in here first before you go to Cosmic Guardians of the Galaxy. I would recommend that. These stories are all amazing. They're just remarkably interesting. I mean, look at that art for Silver Surfer. That is just out of a pop culture explosion by Trad Moore. I love this kind of stuff where you stretch the boundaries, and Donnie Cates just does a wonderful job on writing this book. I highly, highly recommend both of these, but start out with this before you go to this. Both are great. Both are well written. I have nothing to say about the expense of both. Given the thickness of both, you're just going to have to do what you want to do. I'm not going to complain about anything because I'm just happy that I got this stuff in collected format and such nice format. So start with this, finish with this, and you will be happy. I can't wait to read the Venom stuff that Donnie Cates has been doing. I'm waiting for Venom 2 because I have Absolute Carnage in Venom 1, and then I'm set. So read these and be happy. Don't complain. Just be happy you get it. Try and find it cheap, but go ahead. Just, read it, enjoy it. So again, please leave your comments about the direction of this channel, what you want to see, what you don't want to see. Please don't say you don't want to see me, because this is my channel, and if you don't want to see me, it's just going to be blank. It's going to be an empty thing for 20 minutes. That's not going to gain me any viewers. So constructive criticism, please. Oh, constructive criticism never hurt. Just be nice. But do you want to see more of something? A review of something specific? A review of a genre that's specific? A couple more statue reviews, more toy reviews, fewer toy reviews, a look through my button collection, my pin collection. I don't know, whatever you want. Tell me what you want, what you really, really want, and I'll try and get it for you. Because I'm just trying to make you guys happy and turn you on to some good reading. So peace and love, peace and love. I love you guys. Thank you for sticking with me all these years. And Omnidog out. I won't say that ever again. That sounds stupid.